Okay, so our next speaker is Manal, who is going to talk about data profiling with Python. So give it up for Manal.
Hello everyone, thanks Jory for having me here. I'm really grateful today, and nice talks for the other speakers. I really loved it and I saw your passion. I hope I will show my passion today about data and profiling. So, who am I? So, let's briefly I will introduce myself. I'm Manal Rahim. I'm from Tunisia, and I work as a data engineer here in Budapest for Secret Sauce Partners. And I'm Mozillian. I'm a contributor for Mozilla community for like 5 years now. I love speaking a lot. I mean, besides speaking, I love a lot speaking, like in normal life. I love coffee, I love computer science, I love flying, I love traveling a lot, so that's my passion, like the other one. And the new big one is data. So yeah, here my Twitter handle, Manal Butterfly. Please, I'm looking for your feedback. You can send me direct message, you can tweet, you can do whatever you want. Feel free. And if you want to reach out to me after my talk, Twitter is the best way because I'm always available there. Yeah, so I guess some of you don't know about data. So yeah, it's actually a big, huge, massive thing nowadays because it comes from everywhere. Like you can find a lot of type of data. Like it could be about culture, it could be about nature, it could be about financial, scientific. It could be about anything like beers, wine, comics, movies, wherever you want. And what is data exactly? It's like sort of, we can say like it's a box of columns and rows, and yeah, it has like different formats, structure, it's files, could be files, could be databases, it fits files, it's like it has different extensions. And yeah, it's a big discipline because you have to deal with like the messiness of this data. You have to make like a good data for people. You have to produce something, like you have to produce a service from this data. And yeah, as you know, like the software development have a life cycle. Data have like a sort of life cycle. So like you create data, you collect data from different platforms, from different systems, and then some data engineer, like me, do the processing of this data. It means like you are doing a lot of transformation, you are doing a lot of shoveling, you need to understand this data, you need to provide a good quality for this data, and you need to prepare this like big, huge, lovely plate for the data analysis afterwards. And then you will like push it in your system, and then your system will your service will consume it, and then you can archive it somewhere because you need the history is so important for data, and then you can reuse it again and again. So my main issue when I started working 7 months ago, so by the way, I'm a really junior person, and I started Python when I joined Secret Sauce Partners for my internship. So I learned also, like besides coding, I learned about data more. So I learned more what does it mean, data with a good quality. And it's really hard, and none of the enterprise or organization now could provide a data with a good quality, like especially when it's like a big and huge amount of data. You cannot ensure that. So what is data? What is quality of the data? So when your data is matching with the reality, and when you can draw a correct conclusion from the data, it means like one of the data quality specification, you can say my data is accurate. Or when there is no option, no other questions left, and you can make a good decision, and you can say, yes, this data, my service can consume it, so your data is complete. It's like kind of like 99% complete, because I'm sure you will find a bug afterward. And then when you trust the sources of your data. And when you find like some identical information between your data, you can say like I have the data with consistency. And there is the timeliness, which is one of our problems in the company probably, because like sometimes like the data is not available. You don't get the data, you don't receive anything, so you are missing information, and it could cause a lot of problem in your data quality and in your system afterward. So, what about today? So today we are really living in a real messy world, like this messiness of this color. So you cannot understand it because we are using a lot of different technology. We are like producing a lot of different platforms, and you need to collect this data from different sources, and you need to make them in one only store, and you need to consume this store afterward. So one of the problems that I faced as a data person, so always I'm facing the inconsistency of the sources of data we are getting. There is a lot of null values, and like the null values for the information that I need in my data, and it's null, so I have to like to came up with some function or something and guess about it, and try to get this information available and try to provide like a good data and good quality to my colleague. And for the missing record, for the schema is not good, and there is an issue that I found in other companies, it's a bit secret, but I can tell you. So like I have been contributing a little bit with Mozilla for data analysis, so nothing is open now, nothing is like open for contributors, but like I just got to it somehow. And I found like they are missing the big part, which is understanding the data and try to know which information they need, and they don't know like if they can provide a good data with a good quality or not. And all of this should be before the ETL part, which is for some people who don't know the ETL part, which is extraction, transformation, and loading. So you are extracting data, you shovel it, you transform it, and then you load it somehow to another place. So before doing that, you have to do some examination to your data. So you have to understand what you have as information there. Which is the data profiling. So the data profiling actually helps you to discover all the sorts, we can say 80% of the anomalies that you have in your data, and you can understand the content, the structure, the relationship of the many data that you have, and you can make decision like this data is good to proceed it in the ETL part or not. And you can have an idea about what challenge you will face when you are writing your ETL job afterward. And when and how this happened, actually for my experience, it's always happening in the beginning. When I'm receiving the data, I do the profiling, and I will have an idea about my ETL jobs, how it will look like, and then how I do it. Some people do it with some query, but I do with some data profiling tools. So, the better way to do some data profiling, in my experience for 10 months, is Python for now, because I have tried other tools like OpenRefine, but I always go back to Pandas. So there is a lot of sort of 15 Python libraries for data for now, and most of them really good for data scientists, but the only one I found really perfect for me for the business needs that we have, and for the data that we are receiving is Pandas for now. So, Pandas is really easy. You just it's Python library. It's easy to learn, all you need is pandas, Jupyter Notebook, and you can fly. So, why pandas? Because it's designed to work with labeled and relational data, and it's perfect tool when you have any struggle with data, and you can quickly manipulate your data. You can do a really simple aggregation and visualization for data. That's what you're gonna see afterwards. And it supports two data structures. It supports like the one-dimensional, which is the series, and two-dimensional, which is the data frame. And it's so easy to delete and add columns for your data frame if you want to do any transformation and see how it looks like before writing your ETL jobs. And and it represents missing data as none. So it's not like throwing away all the missing or malformed rows. And it's powerful for grouping by functionalities. Okay, this is a little example I'm going to show now. This is how I learned about data profiling. This example is available in Data.com. So it's the best source for me to learn about Python and data at the same time. So this example is about beers and breweries. So before I moved, I don't like beers. Now I love beers. Not all the beers, but just the craft beers. Okay. So with pandas, it's really easy to read your data frame. You just need to I just put the GitHub link for the data frame, and then with just head 5 for your data frame, you can see the first 5 rows, which is the same when you do like head -5 and your file with the terminal. So it's literally the same. And then when you need to know any information about the columns, you can just write your data frame name .columns, and you will have all the columns available in your data frame. So so this is the first step. You need to understand your data. So I know the columns, I know the structure, I have seen like from the head 5 what I have, and now I need to know about the columns. So I have IDs, I have the ID for the beers, I have the name of the beer, I have the alcoholic volume of the beer, I have the international bittering units of the beer, which is more important for me because I don't like sweet beer, and we have the style of the beer, so I can know which style of the beer. Like when I go to the bar, I will ask directly for the style. And we have the ounce, which is ounce of the beer. Sorry, my spelling is bad in English. Okay, and for the brewery's data, we have the unique identifier of the data, the name of the brewery, the city, and the state. Like even when I like the bitter one, I can know from where it is, and I can know the name of the brewery. So I'm not gonna just drink a beer, at least I have an idea about that beer. Okay, it's also another thing, so then I was like, okay, let's see the types now. So with the types, you can know the type of every column in your data frame. And here we found like there is two issues, like there is various numerical data, like the float 64 and the int 64, that you cannot group them together. And the object is not really helpful to do some aggregation. So, what's the idea? So, I need to write a function just to group my columns, like the numerical one, the categorical one. I apply it for my data frame, and then I can do some aggregation. And I can know about the missing data, then we have an idea why. I cannot know why it's missing, of course, but I know if it's missing or not, especially if it's a special or required information for me. So you just call the function with the data frame, and then, as you can see, you will have like the numerical, the IDs and the float and the integer one became numerical, and the name and the style are categorical type now. Okay, so then process of profiling. So what you gonna do? So I want to see how many missing value for the ego. I said I'm interested about the bittering. I need something really not really so bitter and not really not bitter. So you can do like, because like beers and beers IBU is null, and you will have the whole data frame with all the null value of IBU, or you can just print the length of beers IBU. And I think, I don't know, the Ruby guy is not here, so he's not gonna like yeah, I guess, I don't know if Ruby does that, but yeah.
You broke my heart again.
Then we want to count the number of not null or not NA values of the IBU, and it's really easy because the count function will count the values of IBU that's not null and not null. None and none. Yeah. And then I want to see the missing how many missing values I have for the IBU, and in the end just 41.7%, which is, for me, it's a big ratio. So if like I'm working with the brewery company and they send me this data, I will say, hey, there's a lot of missing information for IBU, so please send me back another data because I cannot work with this one. So maybe the most bitter beer is missing already and I don't know about it. Then it's easy to make some aggregation. So if you want to know about the mean value of IBU and the max value, it's really easy. There is mean and max functions. And if you want to see the most frequent value in the data set about the IBU, you will find it's a 20. So there is a lot of craft beers with 20 value of bitterness, and they are maybe highly demanded or something like that. So it's like when you are doing the profiling, you always have like a lot of questions, and you will find yourself trying to answer a lot of questions came into your head. And then I want to see like the value of the summary of the value divided by the count of non-missing IBU, and I found it's 42. It's almost 43, and the median is giving almost the same. I mean, not really the same, but it's kinda, which is 35. And then I want to do some distribution, just to make sure that this aggregation are correct or not. So you can use the Seaborn package, it's also Python library, and you can easily plot it. And then you can do like some sort of, you will find yourself, even if you are a data engineer and you are doing some profiling, somehow you are doing some analysis also about data. So it's sort of you are doing a lot of jobs in one job. So you can see like the minimal value close to the IBU is the 140, and the most frequent value that we talked about earlier is 20. And here, like you can find like there is 2 peaks, but you cannot know why. So this is like a question you can ask it forward to I don't know, data science. Like, hey, when I did my profiling, I found 2 peaks, and when I will provide you clean data, please let me know if you found the same or not, and then maybe there is something fishy in the data and you don't know about it. Yeah. So we worked with numerical columns, and now with the categorical one. So describe, it's really it's a good function that gives you a summary about 2 columns. So here I was curious, like which is the best beer I have in the data set, and it's the non-stop half hop. Actually, I googled it. I didn't like a lot the label, but yeah, I'm gonna try it. And it's American IPA, so I'm not really friendly with American IPA, but yeah, maybe I will try it. So yeah, then I want to know more about this non-stop half hop beer. So I joined the two data that I have together. I joined the beers and the breweries together because I have the brewery ID in the beers data set, so it's easy to join them. And then I wanted to see, here I wanted to see the style, which is American Pale Wheat Ale, which is interesting. And then I want to see the state, like from which state. If I'm gonna buy a beer, I want to know from which state exactly it's coming. And I found it actually, okay, it's not here. Okay, it's my slight issue. But I remember the state. Actually, this beer is from Oregon and it's from Portland. So I was like, oh my god, I was there. Why I didn't buy this beer? Like, I felt so stupid for 1 second, just 1 second. Yeah. And then, like 2 months ago, I found a really great package, and I was like, I was looking for my next talk about data, and yeah, it's Pandas profiling. So it's just a library, you can call it, and then it's gonna make the whole profile report for you, and you can just export it to HTML or any file, and we can check it out here. So it gives you the whole overview. Oh, yeah, I can just. Okay, it gives you like the whole overview of the data set, how many missing data, the ratio of the missing data. You can know even the size of the data, and here it's making a profiling for every column, providing an histogram and providing like the extremist value that you have. So it's really amazing if you are doing some profiling, if you are interested to know about profiling. I guess this is the first thing to start with, not just run the command, but just understand what this command provides and how it's working better, and then you can do some profiling by yourself from this one. Because for me at work, I have just like a structure of profiling. I run it on my Jupyter notebook, and it always depends on the partner, so sometimes I need to switch to change a little bit my structure, and sometimes like I did with the same structure. It's always data needs, yeah. And thank you. Okay.
What else have you analyzed with these pandas beside beers?
Oh, I analyzed wine. I analyzed wine. I analyzed comics. I analyzed movies. I found like a great open API for movies, so you can really like analyze movies. It was amazing, great experience. I got it like as an assignment for Meetup, but yeah, it was really amazing, great experience for me. And I analyzed, I did some extraction from Twitter for the text speaker Twitter profile, and I did some like sentimental analysis just to draw the oh my god, I forgot. Okay, and what I did as I work for fashion industry, secret sauce partner, so I'm analyzing a lot of data about fashion, like about clothing and transactions. So this is like my basic daily life.
Do you use anything else than pandas then?
I tried something which is with the UI, and I really hate that because I love coding, so I want to stay, like I want to improve my my code level, so I want to do something with coding more. I tried OpenRefine, but I really okay, it's really great sometimes because I believe that it depends on your data. It depends on the issue of your data. Sometimes pandas could not figure out about some issues, and some other tool can show it to you so easily. So I believe it always belongs to data. It doesn't belong to the programming languages. It belongs to the type of data that you have. So it's like the data is manipulating you. Not really.
Related to the previous question, can you tell us a few words about what was the other tool? Jupyter.
Jupyter Notebook. Yeah, it's so easy. You have your work environment, and you just install Jupyter, and I'm always running it locally, and you have the all your Python packages. Besides Pandas, sometimes you need something else to work with your data, and yeah, it's just easy. It's just here. So. Yes.
Right. At the beginning of your talk, you mentioned that you imported flat files. And how do you handle type coercion that happens within pandas? So if you have a very messy data set, pandas will coerce everything into type, which you cannot do any counting on, or everything will be categorized as strings. How do you handle that?
If you can categorize as strings, I don't think so. Yeah.
I mean, if you have numerical data mixed with actual data.
By the way, for my basic daily life, I don't do the numerical and the categorical profiling a lot. I do it in another way because all the feed that we have in our data are strings. Or just two of them. One is float, which is prices, and the other is quantity. And there is not a lot to do there for profiling. Just I can, with value counts, I can see the distinct counts, the distinct value of that feed easily. So.
Do you process do you process any invoices? Because I've encountered this sort of type mismatch when I was working with invoice data, and several times they had text in the date field and so on, and it resulted in a total mess. So
it's an empty text.
So it was coming from SQL, and when I was uploading into SQL, it threw an error because there was an issue with type mismatch. It was expecting a date. I was uploading a data set of about 250,000 rows, and at about 12,000, 50,000, they got an error where it was a type mismatch error, and it threw the entire job away. So how would you handle that? Or what would be your recommendation when importing into pandas? Because in pandas that would be an error.
I didn't really have a lot of experience with reading from SQL or writing to SQL with pandas, but I did that once, and the data set was really so small. So with pandas it was easier for me, so I don't need to write some code to create tables or to insert into SQL, to write. No, I don't need that, because with pandas there is 2 SQL, and you can add some parameter, and you can that function could create the table. You can force the schema, and you can create the primary key also with the same function. So it basically will be just one line for everything. And so I really didn't have the experience when it's big files and empty or mismatching type of text.
If I think I understand your question, I think one of the reasons we do data profiling is that once we import a data set from another source, and then our local tool interprets it as a different type of data, we want to know that. So
Yeah.
we go row by row and analyze what type of data we're returning
Exactly.
and make the processing to correct
Yeah.
that, maybe within the tool or where we're going to load that data afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's part of the ETL cycle.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the issue is with pandas, if you're loading data with pandas, it's already called into a type which pandas recognize as
Yeah.
a type. So for example, you might have an integer called into a float where you would have 1.0 all the way through.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. This was just an issue, for example, which I recognized in one of my job stuff.
Which is why we have a data engineering job title, I think.
Right.
Partly because these type of problems are a real
This
mess.
happens, yeah. This-
It's quite obvious that I have to ask, are there similar libraries in Ruby?
Touching any code, so I have no idea how to write even like Ruby code. I tried a lot of programming languages, but Ruby no. I didn't have the chance. Maybe I didn't have.
Okay, so
Yeah.
R created this concept of the programming language R, which is statistical
Yeah.
software, created this concept of data frames, and it makes it really easy to analyze data. Right? So Python was up and coming with data engineering, and there was a guy who decided to create pandas. Okay, and because pandas is very similar to how R handles data. So to answer your question, I think this is quite a special project for Python, and probably there's no library in Ruby that emulates this.
Okay.
It's kind of like also with the data roadmap that Python has had in a few years.
What wasn't the data frame introduced by us?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you always?
Free version.
But
of that.
yeah, it's anything else.
Yeah, that's this problems. Like everything we do.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Okay, maybe there's time for one more question, but if you don't want,
I'm here.
yeah, I think so. So let's continue the conversation after we wrap up. And thank you so much, Mana, for the great talk.